Good morning, everyone, and a happy card making day. I am Sarah Simon. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Most of you probably know that. That's why you're here. I wanted to let you know right away off the bat. I'm doing live prizes today. So I do have a Google form that I set up, and I have the link listed right down here below for you to go to enter your name and your address. That way, if you win, I have to make sure that I have your address so that I can send it to you. And what I will do is at the end of each one of my videos today, I have 4 prizes to give away. And I have a wheel of names. So I'm going to copy all the names from that Google form at the end of each of my lives. And I'm going to put it in that wheel and we'll spin the wheel live at the end of each one of the videos for you to be able to possibly win some prizes. And so I wanted to for sure share that with you. I do also have a QR code for those of you. Let me take this off right now so that you can get that whole QR code. So I do have a QR code that you could also scan if you're into scanning that. So if you just hold your phone over that, there should pop up a little link and it should take you right to where you can um, scan to get entered into those prizes. So I'm going to keep this banner up here the entire time so that if anyone pops on late, they have the link to be able to go to enter for prizes. So this is a little bit different than my normal lives. I am going to get to stamping here pretty quickly because I'm going to be featuring a bundle or a suite of products in each of my lives today. And I'll be making 4 cards this time. People were able to order the pre-order the kits, so they have their kits with them. You can either stamp along with me if you ordered the kit, or this video will be live afterwards so that you can go back and watch it again. And all of those people also received a PDF with all of the dimensions. I'm not going to be giving you all of the dimensions today in order for me to get through in an hour and not have to do a lot of work in posting all of those here. I will not have all of the dimensions posted. Um, let's see what else. I wanted to let you know of a couple of things that are coming up with Stampin' Up! In the month of October, just so that you have it early enough. So right now we have a kit collection. They are all 30% off. That's the whole month of October. Monday through Wednesday, Stampin' Up! Is having a 3-day stamp sale. So you can get 15% off all the stamps from the annual catalog. Those are not bundles, those are just the stamp sets. And then we also have our starter kit special, which right now, if you order the starter kit, which is $99, you get $155 that you can pick from anywhere. And you can take advantage of the stamp sale. You will get that price. You can also get the 30% off the kits in your starter kit. You can also pre-order some of the online exclusives that are coming up in there, and you get free shipping on that. So it's the best deal that Stampin' Up! Order offers. So I wanted to at least get that up to you. I'm going to say hello to all of the people that I see here. So Julie, Mary, Michelle, Nancy, Amanda, um, let's see, Lori and Jean and Becky and Kelly and Wendy and Joan and Sarah and Karen and Renee and Kay. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Like I said, I'm going to get to stamping really quick today. We're not going to do as much. I'm not giving away prizes at the beginning. Those will be next week. And remember, my creative challenge is going on. Oh, here comes Lila. My creative challenge is going on. You have until next week to get entered into that. And you can go back and watch my video from last week to see what that is all about. So let's go ahead and switch our camera up here. I'm going to slide this over. I'm going to turn my overhead lights off. I get less shadows that way. So all of our cards in this first hour are going to be featuring the Frosted Forest bundle. So this is a bundle that has different trees on it, very cool greetings. There are dies that cut out each of the trees. There are also some additional dies that we're going to play with this morning as well. And then the bundle also comes with these decorative masks. So there are 3 of them for the tall tree. And then there are these three for our like our evergreen tree. Okay, so we're going to be playing with the masks today. We will be playing with the stamp set and with the dies. For those of you that received the kit in the mail, inside it you received your pack of the earth tone shimmer gems. So we'll be using those on all of our cards. You also received a pack of the natural tones linen thread. For those of you watching that didn't get the kit, both of these items are currently unavailable, but they either become, this one I believe comes available possibly next week, and this one the week after. So if you see these and you really like them, just know that they are not available right now, but they will be coming available very soon. All right. I have a gem on the back of my envelope. We're gonna start with this pool party card, and I gotta make sure I have everything out of here. So in all of my cards, I decided to use the Country Woods Designer Series paper. So I did cut that for all of you who have used this. So we have Pool Party and Crumb Cake because those were the colors that were in this particular piece of the Country Woods. All right. For those of you that have the kit, you have a piece that looks like this. You are going to take the die that has the trees and you are going to cut that out. Okay, so, and you have this little piece over here. You are also going to cut out a bird from this paper. Okay, so you are going to go ahead and cut that out. You will have two pieces of paper that are exactly the same. One of them we're going to stamp on the outside, and the other one we're going to stamp on the inside. And this is going to be a card. The base is flat and it's going to open up on the top. So there's a little bit of a surprise there in that it's not your normal folding card. It's one that's going to have like a little piece on the top that we are going to fold. All right, for the front of this card, we are going to use the birthday greeting that is in that stamp set. I have to find it here. And with Crumb Cake ink, and I have all my colors of ink that I need for these 4 projects sitting in front of me. So Crumb Cake is the first one we're going to use. We are actually going to stamp in the kind of in the right hand, not complete corner, because our trees are going to go here. But we are going to stamp right about there our birthday greeting. And I did not get that very straight. Let's give it another try. Thank goodness for two sides of the paper, right? Let's see if I can get this a little straighter. There, that's better. Okay, so that's going to be our greeting. On the inside, I'm just going to take that bird stamp that we have, and I'm just going to stamp it. You can stamp it once, you could stamp it twice, however you want. I didn't put a greeting inside of here at all. I left it open so that you could put any greeting that you wanted to, or you could just, it's a very small piece of paper. You could write your greet or your message to them in there. That's all we have for stamping. Now, before I go much further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella. Okay, so I love my Wink of Stella. But what I want to do with my Wink of Stella is I want to create some glittery type background on here. And so what I'm going to do, and I've already go ahead and pinch this so that you end up getting some of the actual glitter, the juice with the glitter in it in this kind of barrel of your pen. You never want to do that over your project because if it spills out, you have to start over. And I always like to just wipe it off a little bit. And now what I'm going to do now that I have a very juicy Wink of Stella is I'm going to take a bone folder or something. You could take anything that a pen. I mean, I could come and take a pen here if I wanted to, but you're just going to take something and you're going to tap it on here. And what it's doing is, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but I think you can see some of those little sparkles of glitter that are on that background. All right. Then I'm also going to bring in my die cut. I've already die cutted this for you so that you didn't have to wait for me to do this. And I'm just going to brush some very lightly so that I don't ruin the branches. I don't want to bend the branches back, but I'm just running some of that Wink of Stella over the tree. Oh, look at that. I just got a bunch out on there. So I'm going to go ahead, lift this up. See how it just kind of, I'm going to go ahead and try to spread that out a little bit. Okay, so that's what happens when you kind of like squeeze it and get a lot of the juice coming out at first. It can sometimes blotch like that. So you just have to try to then spread it. So I don't know how much you can see the glitter that's on here, but it is really, really shining. And now I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm going to add some liquid glue along the bottom. And then there are little places where it's a little bit wider. And I'm going to go ahead and add some liquid glue in those spots. Now, if you have a silicone mat, you could also use your Seal Plus or your Seal, and you could, I'm gonna just go over a little bit. My greeting is a little bit over further than I wanted it, but that's all right. I don't want to cover it. So then what I will do is flip this over and we will just trim off the edges. I did make it a little longer than you needed to have it so that it for sure fit on there. Better to be longer and trim off than not be long enough, correct? All right, so there is that. And then we have our little bird. Now, if you wanted to put some Wink of Stella, you could put some Wink of Stella on the bird as well. Good morning, Elsa. I don't know if anyone else. Good morning, Betty. I know you popped in, I think after. And Julie, good morning from Ohio. All right, so I'm just going to put that bird on there. Isn't that just like a gorgeous background? Oh, I love it. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer that. No, I'm going to put that on our card front. Have a case of mixing things up here today. So that's going to be for the front of our card. Okay, this layer was what I cut this out of, but I already did that, so you didn't have to wait for me to do that. We are going to add a crumb cake layer to our pool party. I'm gonna take this off of here. It's kind of getting in the way a little bit, and I'll remind people at the end to enter for prizes. I'll give a little bit of time for people to get their entry in at the end if they hop on in the middle. All right. So that's how I layered all of that. You could put these little pieces of wood anywhere. You could flip it and put it on the bottom. It doesn't really matter. Each card's going to be just a little bit different. Hello, Mary. And we'll pop that on the inside of our card. And then we will add liquid glue to the back of this front piece. And that is going to go in here. Now, if you wanted to, you could take that bird and you could raise it up on dimensionals. I had so many layers on here that I decided just to do it without raising it up on dimensionals, but it's entirely up to you if you would like to do that. And then we have these beautiful gems that sparkle just like that Wink of Stella that we have on there. And there are basic beige. These are like a white or a very vanilla, garden green, and pecan pie that are in there. So I'm going to take some of the white ones at the top, and I'm just going to put a couple of these randomly around this card. All right, so there we have our first card with the frosted forest. And it's a birthday card. Could be really masculine or feminine. It doesn't really matter. You could change up the colors. I wanted to show you another card. I did not, this is not my design. We're using this for my card buffet, which is in a couple of weeks. I copied this design from Mary Detheridge, Detheridge, I think is her last name. And it's using also the country woods and using our basic beige and just taking one of our Spotlight on Nature dies. I cut that out and then I just cut the paper into 3 different parts. And so there's another example of how you could use that as well. So I'll have a couple of different examples along the way that I've received either in swaps or that I have used in my own business for different things. All right, so there is our card number 1. I'm doing pretty good. 15 minutes. I have to have cards done in about 15 minutes to try to stay to an hour. If I go a little over an hour, that's why I gave myself an hour in between. So I have time to use the restroom at some point, let Lila out because she's going to need to go out at some point. All right, card number 2 is a step card. And so for those of you who ordered the kit, you will have a piece of early espresso that has some of our adhesive sheets on the back. You will also have a piece of garden green that has some adhesive sheets on the back. What you are going to be doing with these sheets, let me grab the dies. There are 2 dies in here that you need to use. So the kind of the tree base will fit on there for you to cut that out, and it will have then a sticker on the back. And then we have the leaves or the top part of the tree that will be cut out of the garden green. And again, you will be making that into a sticker so that you can layer those on top of each other. And whoops, helps if I put these in the right spot here. There and there. I'm gonna put that aside for right now. The colors that I have featured here are our basic beige, which I am absolutely loving. I love it even over very vanilla. And this is one of our stylish shapes that I cut out in the banner. We also are using a little bit of the Country Woods Designer Series paper. And the other colors that I have in here, whoops, this is from the Birch embossing folder, which is also, it's in our um, mini catalog. And I should have, I did cut, here we go. I did cut these out already. And I have them here. Kind of left them in there. Here's another one. I'll take that out. So let's go ahead and start putting our card together. So for those of you that purchased the kit, I had this folded in half already for you. And then this is, like I said, it's a center step card. So you're going to fold this part up and you're going to fold this part back. Okay, so we get something that stands like this and it opens up in the center. Okay, there is a layer of your designer series paper. And then there is a piece of early espresso that layers on that. Oh, thank you, Donna. Yeah, all of these cards are pretty simple. I did want to put in a couple of fun folds. So even though they are fun folds, my hope was that they would still be easy enough. Like this is it's called a faux center step. So if you like this fold and you want the dimensions, really you could almost Google a faux center step card. All right, and then that is going to be going on to this back section of our faux step card. Okay, so that is going to go like that. I have a small piece of early espresso that I ended up running through that birch embossing folder. And that is going to go right on this front part of our step card. So for those of you that have this bundle, I just wanted to give you a couple of different ways. Now, there's another card that we're going to be doing that has kind of like a center focal point as well. It's just a little bit different than each card is just a little bit different. Okay. And then on the inside, I do have a little strip of this designer paper. And what I have is for the inside of your card, which is just a piece of this basic beige that can go on the inside for you to write a greeting. Good morning, Linda. I will, for those of you that jumped on here just a little bit later, I do want to make everybody aware of the fact that I'm doing prizes at the end of the video. So there is a link that you can go to, and it is case sensitive. So you do have to have the WCD capitalized, and then the word prizes has to be lowercase. And if you go to that, you will be able to put in your name and address to be entered into prizes that I'll be giving away. I'll be copying all of the names from there and putting them into a wheel, and we will spin that wheel at the end of this live video, and then I will spin it at the end of the next one. You don't have to enter every single time you come here. You just have to enter once for the day. All right. On this piece of garden green that is skinny and has a little fold on it, on the larger front piece, we are actually going to layer. There is a basic beige here that we are going to layer on top of the early espresso. And then that is going to get layered on top of the green. So layering it gives you the ability. Can we get the kit yet? Donna, the cut cardstock, no. What I'm thinking about doing for these, because I know that some people are going to want the dimensions and stuff, I'm considering selling a PDF of all three of them. So you could get all three PDFs, so that you have all of the dimensions with the pictures of the cards. But I already kitted everything up, and I sent it all off in the mail to people. And with some of the products that go in the kits not being available any right now, I am not going to sell more kits, but I'm thinking about opening up and selling the PDF. So if you would be interested in purchasing the PDF, I'm thinking for all three of them, $10, and you would get all three PDFs that have pictures, have the directions on how to put them together, and also have like this is a link to the video so that you can get back to the video very quickly for each of them. So if that is something that you are interested in, just drop me a comment. And if there are a lot of people that are interested, I will go ahead and open that up and post where you can purchase that. When I pulled this off of my adhesive sheets, most of the little dots stay on the adhesive, and some of them do not. And you know what? I'm okay with that. So I'm going to leave some of those in there because it's okay to have some of them not coming out and being a little bit more solid. Usually I try to get all of those things out, but I found with this die, I really didn't mind that there were some of those left in there. Okay, this right here is going to be adhered. I'm going to get these were our pieces for die cutting. This right here is going to get adhered to the center. So we're going to line up the bottom and we want it to be centered from right to left. And where we need to add our adhesive is going to be to this bottom section. And then also this is going to adhere to the back. So we want this to come over the top like this. So on the inside part, we need to add some adhesive as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive down here. And I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive here. And then liquid glue is your friend on this one because it does give you a little bit of leeway here. So I'm going to go ahead and center that right and left, line it up along the bottom. And when I have that done, I can flip it over and press this down in the back. Right? That is our center step fold. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to add a greeting to this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean off. I did have it. Here it is. I put the stamp set on top of it after I showed it to you. Do have our chamois here. And I'm just going to clean off because I'm going to use the birthday greeting again. Of course, the first two cards I pick use the birthday greeting, and I don't use it for the rest of the cards. So I'm going to go ahead and probably put these in my garbage in here in just a little bit. And I want to, this is really hard to line up and get centered with a camera over the top of you. I'm a little bit off. I'm going to try the back here. This is much easier to do when you can bring it closer to you. All right. Both of them are a little bit crooked. I'm going to grab a sponge dauber. And I'm just going to lightly add with my sponge dauber a little bit of ink to the edges of this. Like so. And then that is going to be added to the front of this card. And I'm going to add this with some dimensionals. I did bring my dimensionals over to the side so that I didn't have to keep reaching over the camera. All right. Set those off to the side too. And just going to attach that. And then we're going to bring in our twine. And there is garden green as one of the colors. I'm going to close up my early espresso ink. Otherwise, I am going to have that. I'm going to go ahead and use my bow maker. I have to check with Kathy. I know she's in the Northwoods. Originally, Kathy and I were going to do this together. And then all of a sudden, she found out that her family was planning to go to their family cabin that they have in the Rhinelander area. So she said she's going to be watching this morning. I didn't see her comment on here, but she was going to be watching this morning. Originally, we were going to be doing this together. And she did make some of my cards that I have that I'm sharing with you as samples. Because originally we were going to do this together. And then it just so happened that her schedule changed. And I'm like, do not worry about it at all. So I'm going to make this, trim that a little bit. So I just made a really tiny little green linen thread. This is like our linen thread. It's a little bit thinner than our baker's twine. And I'm going to take a glue dot. And I'm going to take my take your pick tool, which is right here, and I'm just going to roll this into a tiny little ball, and I'm going to put it kind of at the tip of where that banner is. And then I'm going to take the knot of my bow and just press that right inside or onto that glue. All right. And I did take, I think you saw me take my bone folder and I can just curl the edges of that ribbon a little bit. And then we have these beautiful gems. So I'm going to take a couple of those and pop them on here just to add a little bit more bling. All right, so there is our second card. This uses the dies, the detailed dies, to create a tree. And, the tree of life, I thought that that was a great um, image to use for the birthday one. So thank you, Sarah. Good morning, Gian. For those of you that are jumping on a little bit later, I do have the link if you haven't signed up to win prizes. That link is there for you to go ahead and do that. Now, our last two cards are a little bit, how should I say? They're a little bit messier. So I wanted to do them last because I know that I'm going to be using this paper and I I thought I'm going to do these cards last so that you can I don't mess up all of my paper. All right, so in this one, we're going to use the evergreen trees and we're going to use the masks to go along with it. So for those of you that purchased this kit, this one doesn't have any of the designer series paper in. We're going to create a background on this boho blue, which is going to be layered onto this Night of Navy. And we have an image for the inside that we're going to just do a little bit of stamping. And our card base, this is boho blue. So I'm using boho blue and Night of Navy. And make sure you check in the bottom of your envelope. You should have one of these tags that's in white, basic white. And this is from the Greetings of the Season, I think is what it's called, the dies that go with that. All right, so we're going to need this layer and this one, and I'm going to set my card base and my other layer aside. And we're going to work with these three layers for getting our card ready to go. So probably the easiest thing to do is to take our greeting and stamp it on our label. We'll start with that. So I'm using Night of Navy ink this time. And I'm using, it says, no beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. And this could be a great greeting that you could use for a thank you. And I thought, winter thank yous after Christmas, somebody does something nice for you and you want to send a card. I thought this would be perfect. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up stamping this greeting, and then on the inside, I just put my hand in ink. Give me a second. I got to grab a wipe before I have Night of Navy all over. All right, there we go. Got that cleaned up right away. So what I decided to do is on the inside, I am going to put a thank you and make this a thank you card. Okay, so we've got that done. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take those evergreen trees and we're actually going to stamp those. So on the inside, I'm going to stamp one just kind of down in the corner. Okay, that doesn't look like much right now, but just wait when we use those decorative masks, it just makes them pop. So then on our front layer, I'm going to use both sizes and I'm going to put them at different heights. Let me bring my Night of Navy down here. So I'm going to start by doing one that's a little bit taller on the right-hand side. And then I'm going to go kind of in the middle. And then I'm going to go off to the edge a little bit. All right, and then we have a smaller tree, and I'm going to be bringing that tree in between the two bigger ones. Okay, so we're creating a scene here, and I'm also going to stamp my bird about right there. Okay, so that's all the stamping that I have to do. I'm going to leave my Night of Navy ink here because we're going to bring in those decorative masks, and we're going to make these trees come to life with those decorative masks. So let me get, here we go. My blending brush is what I need for this. And then for the decorative masks, 1, 2, and 3, we're going to use on our next card. That's for our taller tree. We're going to be using A and B and C for this one. So this has both of the trees on it, but I did not stamp these so that they were in the correct order that I could do both of them. So I'm just going to lift and move for each of the cards. It really won't take all that long. Let's start with our inside one. I'm going to line up kind of along the center of that tree. I'm going to line up my die. Now I can tell you that I do put on, I'm going to show you what it looks like. You can get it at pretty much any craft store. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's called Pixie Spray. And basically what I did, it's a light tacky adhesive for stencils. So I just take it and I spray it on the back of my adhesives or my masks. And it lasts. Like I did this when I first did these cards a couple of months, well, at least a month ago, and it is still tacky. I did not have to spray anymore. I'm going to get some of the ink off, and I'm just going to lightly go over this tree with that Night of Navy. Okay, see how it's starting to come to life a little bit? I'm going to set that aside because I've got 2 more layers to do. I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to do that same thing to all of my bigger trees. So I'm just lightly adding some ink to that one. Here's another tall one. Setting this over the top of the tree and lining it up. These are what really brings this to life. And it's so nice that they included that as part of the bundle. You can buy just the masks, you can buy just the die. So if you just want the stamp set and you want the masks, you can buy those individually. But if you buy it as a bundle, you do get the dies, the stamp set, and you get the masks with the bundle. Okay, so there's our big ones. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do our little ones. Get rid of that. Okay, so there's one little one, and then we've got another one. And again, my thought on this was this would be a great winter thank you card. Somebody that does something good for you and has a good heart. Nice to be able to send that off to them. When I'm done with these, I'm just going to run these underneath my sink, and I'll be able to get all of that color off. Notice there is a notch down in the corner. If I wanted to, when I had this set up, I could notch that out and match each one of them up. But this one's actually pretty easy to match up. So again, I'm going to lay this over the top. I'm kind of finding the center of my tree. And there we go. Just have to get this up to the top here. I'm going to stand up and look over the top of it. It's really hard from where I am at. There we go. All right. And again, I'm just using Night of Navy, and I'm just putting another layer, which will make that a little bit darker. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. It's basically just adding one more shade because I'm putting this over the top, and it's just a little bit darker than what I had before. And we'll do the same thing down here. And this one. All right, and then we have our inside one that we have to do. Okay, and then there is one more layer, and it's the tiniest one. It's C. And what I decided to do, a blue spruce tree, yeah, exactly, Jan. What I decided to do with this one is I'm not going to put the navy over the top of it, but I'm going to bring in our craft white ink, and I'm going to use a sponge dauber. And now this is still just a little bit wet. So instead of swirling it, what I want to do is kind of do more of a tap, tap, tap onto this, because what I'm doing is I'm basically adding just a little bit of snow cover to the top of the trees. So I'm just going to do more of a tap, tap, tap over the top of this to add just a little bit of snow. Okay, it doesn't show as much on the white as it will on this blue. But again, I'm going to line these up. And I think I have to stand up again to be able to line this up. And I'm going to get my ink and just do a tap, tap, tap with the white over the top. And I've added just a little bit of snow. The other thing that I have seen people do is used the glitter or the embossing paste, and they've put embossing paste over it, so it also makes it have like a little bit of, not dimension, but it is just a little bit raised up. We've got some snow there, and then we'll do the same thing here. This would make a beautiful Christmas card as well. You could, there's not a Christmas greeting in here, but you could very easily add any Christmas greeting that you have. And then we have our little tree. Again, I'm not doing a circular motion like I normally do, because otherwise I'm afraid I'm going to spread the ink, like have it be all over the place, because ink, probably that blue hasn't completely dried. And there we have some snow on our trees. All right, let's go ahead and put this card all together now. I'm gonna get this out of the way so I don't have ink all over me. See what I mean about this is gonna be dirty? Well, you're gonna flip this over in just a bit. All right, so we have our card base is the boho blue. It's just a regular card base. And I'm going to go ahead and attach our thank you to the inside. And then this I'm going to layer on a Night of Navy layer before I add it to our card front. Now, if you wanted to, you could add some dimensionals on it. I ended up, see how this white is still a little bit wet? You do have to be careful. It is wet for a little bit, that craft ink. And then we'll go ahead and add that to the front of our card. Just want to make sure it was the front. And then our greeting, I'm going to throw on some dimensionals. And we will put this up here. Now I could have put the ribbon through the hole and done a little bow with it there. I decided that what I wanted to do was just to stick the ribbon in where that hole is rather than stringing it through. So I'm going to go ahead again in your pack of linen thread. Night of Navy is one of the colors that you have. I don't know if it's technically Night of Navy or if it's Misty Moonlight, but it's blue and it will get by. I'm going to run this around my bow maker twice to make a double looped bow. I'll bring that through here. And there we have our double bow. And again, I'm going to trim the edges just a little bit, but then I'm going to bring my bow maker or my bone folder, bone folder, all kinds of tools here. And I'm just going to curl those a little bit, curl this one a little bit more. Right. And then just like I did with the last one, get this out of here, I'm going to take a mini glue dot and I'm going to use my take your pick tool. You could use the end of a scissors, whatever you want to do. You could use your finger, roll it up into a little ball, place it right inside of where that hole is, and press that knot right inside of there. So no beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. And then thank you for somebody that did something nice for you. And then we have our white little sparkly gems that we can stick in a couple of different locations on our card. I like to put them kind of so that they're in a triangle, so to speak. So there is our third card. Now, Kathy, who is going to be doing this with me, this was the card that she made. And look at this. She made a step card too. It goes all the way to the back here. And it's the shorter and longer way rather than the portrait way. So it's more of a landscape step card than it is a portrait step card. And she also used, because we were going to be using the country woods, she used without stamping the tree. She did. And then she cut them out with the dies that allows you to cut them out. Do you know when we will get our email for card making day? Cheryl, I didn't have you sign up for I didn't have you sign up for a kit, Cheryl. So send me an email at createwithsarah@gmail.com. It's Create with Sarah LLC at gmail.com so that I can find out the what you're signing up for with at the door prizes is to win prizes at the end. Okay, that is that one. And we've got one last card, and I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit over time, but not too bad. I thought it was going to be worse than it is. All right, so this uses, so in your kit, you will have a piece of, this is pretty, pecan pie, and it is not a full-size card, you'll notice. This is a tent card. I got this idea from Susan Campfield, who did it a couple of weeks ago. She created a tent card, and so that's what I did. You will have some of the Country Woods designer paper, and then this will be the front of your card. So this is early espresso, and you have more of the pecan pie that's embossed. And then that's just going to go on the front of your card. And we're going to be able to create a tree, and you're going to do that on this. This square piece is going to be for the inside. And then this die cut from the Changing Leaves dies is going to be for your greeting. So that's all the parts. We're going to go ahead and start by, let me get these out of here before I end up having, I think I might have to take another wipe and get some the white, craft white ink and Night of Navy off of my fingers here. All right, for those of you that jumped on a little bit late, you're seeing that link on the bottom. That is for you to sign up. I'm going to be doing some random prize giving away at the end of this video. And if you wanted to be entered into that, you just go to that site, put in your name. The only reason you're putting your address in there is so that I know where to send it to. It's just easier for me. Some of you have received prizes from me in the past. Some of you have not. And then sometimes when you receive prizes and I don't have your address, I'm stuck because I don't know where to send them. Okay, this is early espresso, and this is our taller tree, and we're going to bring in our other masks for these. And mask number 1, I'm going to line up the branches and the tree trunk. That one's the easiest one to probably line up. Okay, and I'm going to bring in some of our pecan pie. I'm going to find that stamp pad. Here it is. And we're going to again bring in a blending brush. And I'm just going to go over the top of that with pecan pie. Yes, leaf fall embossing folder is that embossing folder. Exactly, Renee. You can find that as an online exclusive. It's called, I think it's called Leaf Fall embossing folder. Okay, so there is our pecan pie. That's our mask 1. All right, then we're going to take some fall colors and we're going to make this into a beautiful fall tree. And so this is our first one. Now this, our number 2. Now this one has these tiny little, I don't know how well you can see those, but these little things where the branches are. You do have to be pretty careful with those. You don't want to go over too firmly with your brush because otherwise you will, you'll kind of ruin where those are. And so I'm kind of pressing those down. I've got my little pixie spray on them to try to hold them down. But those are the things that you line up to the branches. Okay, so your branches are going to be lined up with those little things. And then I'm going to start with crushed curry. I think that's a beautiful fall color. And I'm going to bring in a different blending brush. Now with our blending brushes, you can definitely rinse these out afterwards and use them on different colors. I tend to have a whole lot of them and I just I have a yellow one and I have an orange one and I have a green one. And I just make sure that I get all of the color out. Before I go in, like especially if you're going to go to a lighter, if I went to a lighter yellow like a lemon lolly from here, I would want to make sure that I had all the color out of it. You can just run them right underneath your sink and clean them out. Okay, so I started, there's that one. And then I have number 3. And I'm going to go ahead and this one kind of lines up with some of those extra features that they have here. There we go. And for this one, I'm going to bring in an entirely different color. Rather than having it all be yellow, I'm bringing in some Cajun Craze. And I have my Cajun Craze blending brush here. And again, I'm always tapping off because look at how dark that is at first. Okay, I didn't want it to be that dark at first, so I tapped off and then I run it over after that. Wow, look at that. A beautiful fall tree. And we do have a die to cut that out. Looks like when I did mine just a tad bit lighter than that. But through the magic of TV, I already have that cut out. All right, I'm going to bring my pecan pie ink back. And I'm going to use the Thinking of You greeting that's in this stamp set as my greeting for this card. And now lining this up when I'm having to look over a camera is not fun. I should have all that stuff done. I didn't do too bad on that. All right, so there's our thinking of you and how you strengthened my life. You could also do just the thinking of you if you don't like the bottom part. All you have to do is put like a piece of tape. Like I can take, let me grab my scotch tape here. I could take scotch tape and I could, after it's cleaned, cover this up, ink it in my ink pad, take the scotch tape off and stamp, and then just thinking of you would show up rather than the bottom part. Do the stencils stick together with the stencil spray on them, or do you put wax paper between them? You would probably have to put something between them. They don't stick so hard that you can't get them apart. And I haven't had problem with them leaving any residue on the one that I'm using on top. So I just stack them on top of each other. I don't really put anything on them. But because I've laid it down a couple of times and lifted it up a couple of times, it's not super, super sticky, if that makes sense, Donna. All right, so on the inside of this, I put a thank you. I'm gonna just put the bird again. I'm gonna clean him off because last time I used Night of Navy with him. So I'm gonna use the pecan pie again. And I'm going to leave it blank. I had put the thank you in here, but I just think that depending on what you want to use the card for, I don't know that I'm going to use it for a thank you. So I'm just going to leave it blank. And I do this a lot of times when I have like thinking of you cards, because then when I go to use it, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking of them because I want to get well. So I'm going to put a get well on the inside. Or I'm thinking of them because they just lost someone. So I might put a sympathy greeting on the inside. And thinking of you if somebody's going through a difficult time, but they're not going to necessarily get better, then I don't want to have a get well thing on the inside and then be like, well, that card's not going to work because, if something is terminal, they're not going to get well. So it doesn't make sense to have that on. So I sometimes leave my thinking of you cards, I keep them blank. So yeah, that's that leaf ball. I think that's what it's called. I'll bring it out here so that we can see it. I thought I had all the stuff pulled, but then I forgot that some of these embossing folders I didn't. Okay, now when I attach this, this is the part that you have to be a little bit careful for. And I'm going to open up this, which I know is really, really a lot of lines, right? But I want to make sure, I'm going to have it done this way. I have to make sure that when I line this up, that I don't go taller than 5.5. So this is 4.25 wide. So I have to make sure that I don't go taller than 5.5 because it has to fit inside of my card. So I'm putting a little bit of tape here, and I'm also going to put a little bit of tape on there. So it's going right to the edge, and I'm going up to 5.5, which is right there on my graph paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and press that down. Okay, so this is called a tent card. It's sort of like the faux center step, but it's just a tad bit different. So I wanted to show you a couple of different ways that you can create a center focal point with 2 different folds. All right, our tree we're going to put on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So we'll go ahead and put some big dimensionals here. And then I've got some little ones that I will put down there. And we'll take these off and set our tree. Just kind of fits on there. It's like the perfect height for it. And then our thinking of you is going to go right across the center like this. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on either end. And I'm going to take just a little bit of liquid glue and I'm going to tap just a little bit of liquid glue there in the center so that it kind of has a solid place as well to There we go. And then our twine or our linen thread, bring this in. We're going to use our Cajun Craze color this time. So I did use all of the colors, and we used a couple of the different colors of the gems as well. Again, I'm going to wrap it around here twice. Just gives me a little bit more substantial bow by doing it twice. I'll tie that, trim it a little bit, and curl it because I love to curl these. And you're just curling it like you curl ribbon on like a gift package. All right, so we've got our double bow, and I'm just going to put that right in the corner there. So I'm going to, again, use my take your pick tool, scrunch up a little glue dot. Get this out of the way here. Put that up in our corner and press the knot. Of that in there. And there is our thinking of you card all ready to go using the decorative masks. All right, again, I'm just going to take, whoops, let's take some of these. I'm going to take some of the pecan pie ones. And I'm going to put a couple, actually, I think I'm going to put the littler one up here. And we'll do a big one. And then we'll do some of our basic beige. We'll just get a couple of these different ones going on here. Okay, so at times I got 5 of them. I've got a couple of pecan pie ones down here. I just kind of gemmed that up a little bit, making that. So here's a swap card that I received that uses the changing leaves, kind of the same colors that I did. There's a little bit of Wink of Stella in there. You could add some Wink of Stella to that if you wanted to. You can see the first one that I did a lot darker. This one I did a lot lighter. So depending on what you like, do you like the really dark colors? Do you like the little bit lighter colors? All right, so our 4 cards for this kit, we had this one. We have our winter scene. We have more of a summery scene with the green. And then I don't know what this would be, if this would be winter or what it would be, but we've got another scene here with the pretty branches that are there. All right, let me turn my light back on. And let me switch back to you. I am still here, and I'm going to go to get in for the prize drawing. Oh, good. A lot of you have done that. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to go ahead and copy all those names. Just give me a second here. Copying all 35. That's awesome. All right, so I'm going to copy those. I'm going to go to my wheel of random names, and I will paste those, and we'll shuffle them a little. And let me come back to you, and I'm going to actually show you my screen. And there's my wheel of names. Okay, so you should be seeing my wheel of names. Hopefully you see your name in there. Our first prize that I'm going to spin for is for a pack or a spool of this is our white and silver edged ribbon, which is great for Christmas. I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel, and I'm going to write these down so that I can get these off to you later today. All right, Linda, you are going to be getting that. All right, I'm going to remove that. And we're going to spin now for a Night of Navy and Gold. And Amanda Shabo, you are going to be getting that. Oops, I got to turn the volume down on my phone. Remove that. You're probably getting an echo on that. I'm sorry about that. I didn't test that part. Red and white peppermint dots. Red and white peppermint dots. Who is it? Melanie. And the next one is for some faux glass dots. I'll show you what all of these are once I get off the spinner here. And that's going to be Marge. All right. Let me stop sharing. All right. And I'll come back to you. I don't know how much you heard on that. Because I think there might have been an echo. So Melanie won the red and white peppermint dots. Marge won some of our faux glass dots. Great for fall. Amanda Shabo, you won the gold and navy ribbon. And Linda, you won the white and silver ribbon. I tried to pick things for prizes. These I thought were for fall. These I thought were great Christmas things. And this is, of course, very on high demand. Every time they come back in, they go out right away. So I happen to have some, so I'm giving them away. So congratulations to all the winners. Your names will stay in there for the next live. I'll be back again in about a little less than an hour. And in that one, I will be focusing on the splendid autumn. So the first two this first one has a mix of winter and fall. Then we're going to do fall. And then the last one that I'll do is Christmas. So go ahead and grab something to eat, change your laundry, like put the wash in the dryer, whatever you have to do. And then come on back here and join me at 10:30 when I will be doing the splendid autumn. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in about an hour. Bye-bye.